Hey, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a playbook that's 2,500 years old, but trust me, it's packed with strategies that are incredibly powerful for any challenge you're facing right now, whether it's in your career or your business. Okay, just picture this. Your back is literally against the wall. There's no plan B. There is nowhere to retreat. You are completely boxed in. And if you fail, it's game over. So what do you do? In that moment, just trying to survive? That's not the play. Hoping for the best? That's a losing game. No, the only way forward is to commit 100% to victory, because there is no other way out. Now, this absolutely terrifying scenario, it actually has a name. The ancient strategist Sun Tzu, he called it death ground. And understanding this idea, well, it's the secret to turning that sheer desperation into an unstoppable force. But look, this isn't just about ancient soldiers. Think about a startup, right? They've just burned through their very last dollar of funding. A huge competitor just barged into their market, and they've got to make payroll in 2 weeks. You know that feeling? When the walls are just closing in? That is modern death ground. And the rule for death ground is simple, and it's absolute. You hold nothing back, you pivot the entire company, maybe overnight. You burn the boats, making retreat totally unthinkable. And what this does is it forces a kind of ferocious innovation you never even knew you had, because perishing is the only alternative. But here's the thing. This ancient wisdom, it isn't just for those do-or-die moments. It's actually a whole framework for understanding any competitive landscape you find yourself in. See, victory doesn't come from some single magic bullet strategy. No, it comes from being able to accurately read your situation, your ground, and then using the exact strategy that specific terrain demands. So to make this super practical, we can actually boil down the 9 grounds into 3 distinct states of play. And these are situations I guarantee you'll recognize, from business, from projects, maybe even from your own career path. So we're gonna look at entering the fray, when you're just getting started. Then, the high-stakes fight, which is when you really go on the attack. And finally, being backed into a corner, where survival is everything. Okay, so entering the fray, this is all about your opening moves. Think about launching a new product. You need those quick, early wins just to build some momentum, right? Or think about walking into a big conference. Knowing that just one key conversation, one alliance, could change your entire year. This is where you build your foundation. Now the high-stakes fight. This is when you go on offense. A perfect example? When Apple launched the iPhone. They didn't just kinda compete with Nokia. No way. They marched deep into Nokia's territory, and they attacked the very core of their hardware business. This is also when you fight tooth and nail for a game-changing patent, where it poached that star engineer. That's a high-value contested asset. And that brings us to being backed into a corner. This could be getting squeezed from all sides by your competitors, or worse, facing that existential death ground crisis that we started with. And when you're here, you have no choice. You go all in and you innovate your way out. But, just knowing the ground you're on, that's only half the battle. Now we need to talk about the how. It's about cultivating the mindset of a leader who can win on any terrain, and building a team that can actually pull it off. The perfect team operates like this mythical snake called the Shuai Ron. If you strike its head, its tail immediately attacks. If you strike its tail, its head attacks back. The whole thing is so unified that it just instinctively rescues itself. A modern example? Think about Netflix's culture of freedom and responsibility. They have small, empowered teams that can react instantly without waiting for a bunch of orders from the top. See, a unified team like that can move with just shocking speed. They can hit the competition where they are totally unprepared. I mean, when Tesla just exploded onto the EV scene, the legacy automakers were completely flat-footed. They were all playing by the old rules, while Tesla was moving down a completely unexpected path. And this leads to an incredibly powerful leadership tactic. For months, maybe even years, you're just quiet. You seem kind of meek, non-threatening. Your competitors, they completely underestimate you. But the whole time, you are quietly preparing. And then, bam, seemingly out of nowhere, you launch a massive, sudden product drop after all that time in secret R&D. all that quiet preparation, it becomes one devastating, decisive move that catches everyone completely by surprise. So, in a crisis, a victorious leader has to be ruthless. They control the flow of information, sharing only what's absolutely necessary, just to keep the team laser-focused on execution. They break the so-called rules, kind of like how Amazon expanded for years and years without making a profit, and they cut out all the noise, demanding a singular focus on the mission. Okay, so let's pull all of this together. This entire ancient framework. It really just boils down to one simple but really powerful diagnostic tool. First, you have to know what ground you're standing on. Are you in a desperate death ground situation? Well, then your tactics are crystal clear. You innovate like crazy. You unleash everything you've got. You do whatever it takes to win. Period. But if your situation is alliance ground, a place where you have mutual interests with others, then your tactics are the complete opposite. You don't fight, you collaborate, you build partnerships. It's so simple. The terrain dictates the tactic, and that's where true strategic genius is. It's in that adaptability. It's the ability to look at your environment, even a terrifying one, and see an opportunity. It's literally turning the ground underneath your feet into your greatest weapon. So I'll leave you with this question. Look at the biggest challenge you have right now, in your job, in your life. What ground are you on? Are you on foothold ground where you just need some momentum? Are you on contested ground, fighting for something crucial? Or are you on death ground where you have to fight just to survive? Identify your terrain, because victory is waiting for the person who knows what that terrain demands.